in great need of you. We want your blessings upon our nation, our state, our cities, our communities, our families, our churches, our schools, and our municipalities. We invite you here. We want you to dwell richly in our hearts and minds, to grant us wisdom that we may make wise and prudent decisions in the best interest of all, to help those in need. Whenever and wherever we absolutely can, we must. So help us to give graciously and to be a very grateful and mindful people of those who are still sick, dying from heat. They don't have provisions. We know you provide in all things. So we humbly ask your graces and your presence upon our meeting tonight and upon our city and our constituents. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute to the American flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We have some citizens signed up to speak. I'll take them in the order that they're given to me here. You'll have 3 minutes. If you're in the middle of a statement, I'll allow you to finish that as needed. Our first citizen is Sarah Countryman. Come up to the podium. State your name and address, please.
Sarah Countryman, live in the city of Montgomery on Berkeley Drive. Good evening, Council. I come before you tonight for several reasons and with hope that someone in the city will grow a spine and show some gumption. Exactly 12 business days ago, or on June 10th, I sent 2 records requests, easy requests, to the city, and I did receive confirmation that they were acknowledged, but have yet to get any further communication with regards to my easy request, and now they are 12 days old and not of the 10-day protocol. According to the Texas Ethics Commission website, the city should inform the requester of the information cannot be provided promptly and set a date and time to provide it within a reasonable time. By the 10th business day after a governmental body receives your written request, the governmental body must, 1, request the Attorney General opinion and state which exceptions apply, 2, notify the requester of referral to the Attorney General, and 3, notify third parties if the request involves proprietary information. For the record, I requested 2 items. The first being the date, agenda, minutes, and approval from planning and zoning of the hot dog trailer that's downtown Montgomery. My second records request is for the date, agenda, and meetings for the planning and zoning approval of the historic home that was torn down on Louisa Street, which is the first lot on the left north of 105. Both are recent and current events, and this should be easy to locate. What is the city trying to hide or potentially fabricate, and what do they need more time for? I see that my last letter to the city with regards to the interim city administrator, David Forkadell, his lack of efficiency, trustworthiness, and ability to fill the shoes of a city administrator, much less the city assistant city administrator, is still lackluster and full of zero accountability. The city really needs to get this under control to avoid lawsuits, continued embarrassment, and bad press. I have an idea of what to do should you want to ask me. Secondly, I had a delicious meal at Old Montgomery Steakhouse today, and like every time before I go there, it was wonderful. I'm disgusted to learn that our owner is potentially leaving the city and closing a 27-year-old establishment. Why, do you ask? Well, due to the city bowing and cowering to the mob rule line of BS, and again, the city not having a spine to stand up for their very own ordinances and procedures. He, like other businesses I've spoken to recently, is suffering. They did everything the city asked, attended a number of city council meetings and planning and zoning meetings per ordinances, rules, laws, regulations, and they are considering to close due to frustrations with city and city staff due to favoritism, perceived corruption, and lack of continuity with opening and running a business in the city of Montgomery. Should the city cower to a mob rule mentality? Where are the public bathrooms that are mandated to be no more than 300 feet away from said food trucks? Anyone notice that most businesses have no restroom signs that have been put up? I've noticed them, and the reason is due to the steakhouse experiencing 2 expensive plumbing issues that were not because of steakhouse customers. Who should pay that bill? Maybe the city should. Maybe the mobile food truck vendors should. certainly shouldn't be on the back of the business owners that's invested in brick and mortar. Like our ordinances, words mean nothing to the city. And again, I ask you, where is your spine? Lately, I've been traveling, so not able to attend any of the council, PNC, or MEDC meetings in person, but I am watching. What I've noticed is the majority of the speakers that speak during citizens' comment aren't actual citizens of the city. When are you going to start listening to the actual taxpayers and citizens? I'd like to continue. My last thought, please. Stop letting the mob bullies run the city. You are on the payroll to do the right thing, and you were elected to do the right thing for and by your constituents. Update all of our ordinances. I appreciate the chief for doing so and doing his part tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, B. Rouse.
Thank you. I'm on the board of the Montgomery Historical Society, and we have been told that the city is considering buying the vacant lot that is on the south side of the Davis Cottage, which the society has owned for 38 years. And there was one question as to whether or not the two babies that were buried in 1851 and 1854 are on that lot or on the lot inside the fence, where we placed some gravestones just to commemorate that they lived. We couldn't put it on the side. We know from writing there's one history of what the Davis log house, which is what that building was originally, that the two infant children died and were buried in the south side front yard of the house under the large oak tree. At that time, that south side was the front yard. Then they added other rooms to it and moved it to the west. This is written history that we have from the family, the Davis family. And I've provided with council and some of you, Jimmy Ray Duncan, our president, he wrote today and sent this, the history of those gravestones. That doesn't designate that's where the graves are. And when the 7th graders do their historical scavenger hunt, they're told that it just commemorates that they are buried somewhere in that area. Now, the second page that I provided is a picture of a dog lying on some stones. Did you get one, sir? That is a cadaver dog. Last October, when we did the Voices from the Past at our 3 historic cemeteries, we brought cadaver dogs to basically advertise, but we also wanted to know where the babies were. And there are 2 areas that you might have seen closer to 149 that have the large lilies, and we thought, we all think, yeah, that could be a baby's grave. Not says the dog, but the only way to really know is for ground penetrating sonar. And I would think that perhaps the seller of that property would be the one responsible, because we have history showing that there are babies buried there, and they need to be preserved and not disturbed.
Thank you. Michael Ciascio.
Yes, sir, thank you. Sir, thank you for mentioning the small businesses, our community, and lawsuits. It's good to dovetail well into what I have to say here. Let me tell you, my name is Mike. I'm a 3-year resident of Buffalo Springs. I was raised on Long Island, and let me tell you, God bless Texas. Let me say it again. God bless Texas. I got here as a spec for going to Fort Sam, making $400 a month. I now have a beautiful home in Buffalo Springs. God bless Texas. Enough about me. Let's talk about Jacob, the small business owner. Jacob's a 16-year-old kid. He's humping and bumping, and he's doing it, and we all need to get behind that kid. The alternatives are things like tuition forgiveness, where you treat them like a puppy. I don't want to treat Jacob like a problem. I want to treat Jacob like a young adult and support his business. And I need you to help me. Okay, last up. This one hurts. This one's about me, and I'm sorry. There are rumors being spread about me. This is where I get back to the lawsuits. There's rumors being spread about me having a drug conviction. I'm here to tell you I've had top secret clearances with the United States government. I've had defense information systems up at Fort Meade. I've been at NASA and had clearances and looked out for our nation's space program, and I was recognized for what I did there. What's going on here is rumors are being spread about me having a drug conviction. Help me. I didn't record it. If you can get it recorded, and we get awards, we go to court, and we're awarded. 50% of the awards go to the people that got the conviction. Help me get the conviction. The other 50% of the awards, they go to the city of Montgomery. I get the net awards because I might have expenses. 50% goes to the people that helped me get the conviction, for people slandering me, telling me there's a drug conviction after my top secret clearances, and the other 50% goes to the city for drainage or something like that. I get nothing. That's all I got.
Michael, can you repeat your address? I forgot to ask your address.
I'm sorry, sir. I was supposed to do that at the beginning. I'm new to this. It's Michael Ciaccio, Mayor, C-I-A-C-C-I-O, and it's 138 Anna Springs. And again, God bless Texas, and thank you all for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Davis.
Julie Davis, 201 Walnut Cemetery, and I did type it up, so I won't be emotional on it. So, on June 13th, we sat here and heard Councilmember Olson discuss an open-ended contract with a firm that were contracting to find a new city manager without opting to close it before demanding the city limit the contract. This is basically writes a check to the firm, a blank check, on our tax dollar backs, and leaves us responsible for it. It's my encouragement to you to recall it and limit it. You have the power to do that. That's your responsibility to limit those contracts. Please make all of us not pay for that. Additionally, we heard an item for an emergency expenditure over $14,000 for water repair, and you took no action. Under Robert's Rules of Order, you must take action. Even if it's a motion for no action, you must take action. Seeing that the past is coming back, I want to make sure that everyone is covered. I told you this directly, Dave, but I'll leave that there. Additionally, moving on to the agenda items for tonight, the PD is asking to auction off junk, as I'll say. It's my quotation. For $1. You can't even go to the grocery store and buy a pack of gum for $1. We are a nonprofit as a city, but this is our taxpayer dollars that you're giving away for $1. I don't know what's included in that. I don't really want to know, but I'm just going to encourage you that you dig deeper on that tonight, because $1 for anything is hard to come by in 2022. Another one, we're repeating the sins of our past on our judge's contract. I have known Robert Rosenquist for 20 years, and last year you may not have seen the mess that happened when they tried to bring in Judge Wayne Mack. I will tell you this much. Having a judge's contract, it is a contract, let's start there. It's open-ended, and what you're proposing on the agenda tonight is open-ended. There's no dates on it, there's no fee statement on it, and no expectations on it. And furthermore, it's nepotism, period. Straight and simple, it is nepotism to not send this out for an RFQ. So you want to talk about lawsuits? Here's one right here. Any person that wanted to submit their qualifications on this opportunity to do business with the city, you've closed that door on them taking just the referral off Robert Rosenquist. And it would have been the same with Judge Mack. We have a due diligence to this city and our taxpayers, my money, your money, to do better. Last but not least, I will say this. WGA, God bless Chris God bless Chris, but it's on the agenda tonight to allow WGA to contract with the city for a particular pipeline. It's a downtown historic improvement. Here's my 2 cents. You're going to pay him as a city to contract to do this service on a bid that we didn't, I can't see that we sent it out to anybody else. And then on top of that, you're going to pay him as our city engineer to oversee it and make sure he did it to the city specs. Who has the city's best
do better.
Thank you. All right, on to the consent agenda. With the council's pleasure, given what I've heard before, we may want to take these separate. That's just my suggestion. There's 5 things under there. We may want to take these separate. But I need a motion to do that.
Take a second.
Motion by Casey. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carol. All in favor of considering these separately, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Item number 1, consideration and approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting, 5/24/22. And we'll go ahead and put the "and" to it. And the minutes of the regular city council meeting, 6/14/22. Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Casey,
I'll second.
second by Carol. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Item number 2, an ordinance amending the records management ordinance for the city of Montgomery, Texas, providing for a records management policy for the city of Montgomery, Texas, designating the city secretary as records management officer, establishing a records retention schedule, and providing for destruction of municipal records, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for severability. I understand this was kind of an update, Nikki, a recommended update that they,
Absolutely, the last one was 1993, so this is just scope and taste back. It's just best that we revise it and update it.
need a motion?
Absolutely. Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Casey,
Second.
second by Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed, the motion carries. Item number 3, an ordinance of the city of Montgomery, Texas, creating regulations relating to records management, including the disaster prevention and recovery plan for city records, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. This is just by extension
Yeah.
of,
This is something that a lot of cities are putting in place after having experienced a lot of damage to their records in going to these certified clerk seminars. You get to hear all the horror stories. So it's best that we actually have this disaster prevention and recovery plan put into place. And this plan will outline where and how we protect our records going forward. Those that are there now, and look for suitable places to locate them. Put them on the floor, it's not suitable. And
I
where
agree.
they are right now, they're under threat of a pipe leak. So Diana and I are in the process of scanning everything, digitizing everything, so we can have those records digitized. And this is just to go alongside the city's emergency management plan that's done by the chief. It's not to overtake it, and it's only to be related to the city's records.
okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Casey,
Second.
second by Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Item 3 carries. Item number 4, consideration and possible action authorizing the police department to sell unused generator to Panorama Village for $1,500. They need some input, Chief.
Council, this generator is a portable generator that we got on the 1033 program, which is a government program where we go out and we look for items that we may be able to use. We bought this generator in as a portable generator. We were actually going to hook it to the community center. We tried it online, and then we looked at some other ways because we had to reconstruct it. The money was way too much to reconstruct that generator and to hook it to that community center. So after 2 years, these items belong to the city. We brought that generator in. It didn't cost us any money with the exception of having it transported here. That generator, along with the 2 trucks we had out there, cost us $2,100 to bring in. We'd like to sell this generator to Panorama, who can use it for $1,500.
Does that answer your questions?
That does, that answer my question.
Absolutely.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Casey, second.
I second it.
By Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor of considering letting the police department sell unused generator to Panorama Village for $1,500, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed, the motion carries. Item number 5, consideration possible action authorizing the police department to sell unused equipment to Tioga Police Department for $1.
These unused equipment are old radios. We were doing an inventory on everything that we had. A lot of these radios are outdated. They're about 10 years old. The county has changed the systems that we use. We can no longer use these radios. They've been sitting back there. So what we did, we looked at cities as we go into Texas Police Chiefs Association that may need radios. They called us and we put our items on there. And those radios are not even used to this city, so we thought we'd get some kind of money out of it.
I can tell you for a fact, I help inventory them. Those radios are old and they are, I won't say that they're worthless, but close.
Worth $1, we think.
Worth $1.
We can't use them here in this county.
Not in this county.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Any other comments? Questions? Need a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Casey.
Second.
Second by Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor of the police department to sell unused radios to the Tioga Police Department for $1, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed. Motion carries for item number 5. All right, item number 6, consideration and possible action to appoint a municipal court judge.
Mayor and council, at this item here before you, as it says in the report, the municipal judge term runs concurrent with the mayor. So 2 years ago, we reappointed Judge Rosenquist, who served the city for about 10 years or so. He has decided that he's not going to return for another term, but had a recommendation that he spoke with the court administrator about. The court administrator's here. Be happy to talk to you. There are options. It was, mentioned the city had spoken with Judge Mack. We can go out again to formally advertise. The position isn't really a lucrative, position for someone with the qualifications like an attorney. So it's yes, they are compensated about $1,000 a month. As you can see, there's a $12,000 annual item on the budget. That's for one court night and the various communications that the court has with the judge. Again, you've got the idea, or you've got the option to appoint someone. You've got the option to go out and advertise or solicit for folks that are interested. But I encourage you to ask your court administrator what her thoughts are on it. That's certainly where I look in terms of who's the expert and what the court needs and what the court functions are.
I did talk to Kimberly, by the way, but if any of y'all have any questions for her?
I guess my only question is, how soon does a current judge, how soon is he wanting to retire or be done, walk away?
Oh, he is one.
He's done.
Yeah,
So
he didn't want to do it anymore.
So we don't have a judge, right?
Right.
No.
Well, the judge is actually,
Okay.
sorry I showed up late, traffic. My resignation, the way I sent it in, would be effective upon appointment of a new judge. So I'm actually still officially in until you all take action on some sort of subsequent decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Alan, do you have anything to add for us?
Well, basically what David said is correct. It's an appointed position. You guys set the compensation. There's, it doesn't involve a whole lot of compensation. There are attorneys out there who act as municipal judges for different cities. It's not obviously the salary where that's a full-time gig. That's something that somebody does in addition to other things.
So it's not a legal jeopardy thing in doing an appointment, it's appointment, right?
You are required to make the appointment. If you don't make the appointment, then by law, the previous appointment rolls over after 90 days. But obviously, if you have somebody resigning,
You have a spot open,
You've
I
got to take
think.
some action to fill that vacancy.
Kimberly, can you clarify a little bit about how we intend to fill this? This is a person, I guess we're going to need the name if we're going to vote on this, right?
Yes, I have Mr. Chad Peace. He is here tonight, and he came highly recommended, not only by the judge, but several constituents from the county and the police department. He has a very extensive background and resume. He is a licensed attorney here in the state of Texas. And as discussed with Mr. Peace, he's come out before to VR court to see how we function, to see if it's something that he wants to be a part of. And he was gladly able to speak with the judge to go over things to make sure that he would want to be considered for this position. And after speaking with Mr. Peace, I spoke with the mayor and the judge. I couldn't hold him here any longer hostage like I wanted to, but he really agreed that Mr. Peace would be a great candidate for the position. And he is, open, and he knows that I call the judge all the time. We text to make sure I get lots of questions answered, so Mr. Peace knows that he will have all hands on deck for this position.
And he knows we're keeping the compensation financially at, what, $1,000 a month?
Yes.
Kimberly, where did Mr. Scott ever come in at?
Mr. Scott was our associate judge,
Yeah.
so we only use him when Judge Rosenquist was out of the office, but he has taken on a larger role at the county, with the city of Conroe, actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
So in our motion, Alan, we should state an appointment of Chad Peace for the compensation currently given. The motion needs to be fashioned that way.
That would be best for the record, yes.
Okay, so someone has a motion.
I actually have a question before we go any further. How long, if we were to put it to the public, how long could we go? What kind of a window are we looking at? 30 days?
So, normally, your appointments of your judges run concurrent with the mayor's position. And under Texas law, if you don't take action to reappoint, that's a 2-year term. If you don't take action to reappoint within 90 days, on the 91st day, the reappointment is automatic. But apparently we have a resignation which plays into that. And the current judge has stated that it will be effective upon your reappointment. So I suppose you could go as long as your current judge is willing to serve, but
Put you in the spot. You're going to luck out on that
May I first put
one. Sure.
Yes.
First, it's been an honor to be here. I've been here for quite a long time. The idea of Chad coming on board was actually to replace Gary because he effectively resigned as the associate judge. I've had multiple sitting district court judges call me personally to make recommendations for Chad. He's a great guy. I've learned to meet him through this whole process, so I just want to throw that out there. As far as my resignation goes, it is effective upon the appointment of a new, but I can add a little bit more to that. I've got some other issues that are going to raise a conflict of me holding this position sometime towards the end of July, early August. And so there is an absolute deadline where I will have to run out the back door probably within about 30 days, if not less, because of something else I have brewing that's going to cause a conflict, as I said. That's not, I'm not going to get into the details of what that is just yet.
Thank you.
Chad probably knows. He works in the courthouse in Conroe, and so this is something that I've been trying to get him to come in on the associate position until I learned about 8 days ago that something else is coming my way. So I think it's something to try and get taken care of in advance. And until such time as I truly have the conflict in place, I am willing to fulfill the role as associate for free in order to help the transition with Chad. Any other questions?
Well, I know from experience in the past, when someone has been recommended, we've always had very good luck with them. and they've always been appropriate for the city. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chad Peace as our municipal court judge with the $12,000 a year fee.
I second that motion.
All right, a motion by Carol, second by Cheryl to appoint Chad Peace for an amount of $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote.
I appreciate the talk on Mr. Peace. My question though is, I just met Mr. Peace this evening. I have not seen a resume. I have no idea who he is. None whatsoever.
I only have one copy. Would you like to pass it around?
Sure. Thank you. Can we circle back to this? This is long, isn't it? My other thing is I am also of the thought that it is a public appointment, and we should give others an opportunity. This is an impressive resume. That being said, we should still give the opportunity to others to apply. So that's my only concern, right? It should be opened up. I'm in agreement with that, the fact that it is a public position and it should be open to the public.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is council ready for the question? All those in favor of appointing Chad Peace as municipal court judge for Montgomery City at a $12,000 per year salary, say aye.
Aye.
There are two, and those who say nay.
Nay?
So the motion carries, and we will employ Chad Peace for $12,000 a year as our new municipal court judge. Before you leave, though, I think we have a presentation.
I will stay around.
Okay. Can we do that now?
Sir.
She didn't tell me.
I would have dressed up more.
City of Montgomery Municipal Courts, give appreciation to Judge Robert Rosenquist. We proudly present this award to you in recognition of your dedication to years of service to the City of Montgomery Municipal Court. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been... Thank you.
All right, item number 7, consideration of possible action on the following. To receive the recommendation and final report of the Planning and Zoning Commission on a rezoning request for 504 Carolina Street, Montgomery, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to B Commercial. Now, are we going to
Do we
convene?
need all those items, or we can do them individually? If that's what we find either way. If you want to just take this, just so we can stay one at a time on, you have in your packet the final report and recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. As you're aware, 504 Caroline there next to the Wings of the Montgomery restaurant has been requested to be rezoned to commercial. Again, the DMZ did recommend approval of that at their meeting, and I'm happy to answer any thoughts or questions that you have on the recommendation. With the added comment that the motion that we would take here is to accept the final report and recommendation of the action plan.
Okay. do we convene to a public hearing before we do either A or C?
The way the statute reads, and I don't know that it matters a terrible lot, but because the idea is that you do these at the same time, but the way the statute reads is that before the city council holds their public hearing, they must receive the final report from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So just as a matter of practice, we've always accepted that and affirmed that we did get that before we went into the public hearing.
Okay, so A is just receiving the recommendation of the report, which tends to be standard procedure, and we've read through the Planning and Zoning's recommendation. We knew it was coming ahead of time, so.
This does not do anything on the actual rezoning of the property. You're just accepting the report. Next, you're going to hold a public hearing, and then subsequently you'll take action.
Okay.
Those 2 steps.
So do we have a motion to receive letter A?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Carol, need a second?
Second.
Second by Casey to receive the recommendation of the final report of the P&Z Commission on rezoning request for 504 Caroline Street, Montgomery, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to B Commercial. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving 7A as read, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? There is none. So we will receive the final report of the P&Z Commission regarding 504 Caroline Street from R1 Single Family Residential to B Commercial. It is 6:38. We convene into public hearing to hear any public comments on the request. Are there any comments?
Mayor, I will add that we've not received any comments here at the city, either in writing or verbal, that are related to the request.
Okay.
Did letters go out for this public hearing?
Yes, ma'am. The letter said that the public hearing for P&Z was on the date that it was, and then since we knew what both of those dates were, we just concluded.
Do you know how many letters went out?
Yes, ma'am. 19 letters.
19.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, it is 6:38, and we're back into regular session. Letter C, item C, under item 7C, an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, amending the zoning classifications as defined in the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98, zoning for a .5 acre tract situated in the John Corner Survey. Abstract number 8, Montgomery take these off. Montgomery County, Texas, commonly referred to as 504 Caroline Street, Montgomery, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential Zoning District, as found on the city's official zoning map to B Commercial Zoning District classification, and to amend the official zoning map, providing a savings clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing an effective date upon passage and publication. I'm reminded once again why I wasn't a lawyer.
This is the actual action that will either affirm the change, the requested change, if you guys vote in favor to adopt the ordinance. You've received your final report. P&Z has held their public hearings. You've held your public hearings. So now I'm happy to answer any thoughts or questions you have on the rezoning action.
This leaves just one property, if I remember the map correctly, that is not.
That's right there on Pond Street. The Pets building is still zoned single-family residential. I don't know that it's been used as single-family residential since I've lived here. There's a commercial building on it with a parking lot.
And then the parking lot behind it looks like Rancher's Daughter.
Right.
Is the only other piece that's not yellowed in.
That's right. There's just behind Rancher's Daughter, there's a small little 50 by 50 parcel there that's owned by a family that's still single-family residential.
Okay, so that's separate than Rancher's Daughter
It is.
altogether then.
Yeah, separate ownership.
All right. Any comments? All right. Need a motion to approve Item 7C by Casey.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Need a second?
I second it.
Second by Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of passing item 7C regarding the ordinance of 504 Caroline, say aye.
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 And there are none opposed, the motion carries. I hope this next one is not as wordy. There we go. All right, item number 8, consideration and possible action on ending the one-year warranty period and releasing the maintenance bond for the public infrastructure in Hills of Town Creek, Section 4.
So in your packet, you have a letter from us. So Hills of Town Creek Section 4 has reached the end of their warranty period. Towards the end of March, we did a warranty inspection, went out there and checked everything. Enclosed in your packet is the punch list that we found. Excuse me, all items have been addressed and have been signed off on, and the punch list included. And it is ready for release of the warranty. One thing I want to note is that on the punch list it's included, when we flooded the streets, there was a little bit of ponding. The streets were notably dirty, and so we asked the contractor to clean the streets. We reflooded, and the streets were dry within 24 hours. So we have no objections and recommend releasing the maintenance bond and ending the warranty period.
I walked the whole neighborhood and I will confirm how dirty it was at that time. But I'll also confirm that I examined the concrete driveways, the little curved part that goes into the road, and there's no cracks, there's no chips, there's nothing. And come to find out, our neighborhood out there has 2 developers. So 2 of those phases are by one. These 3, 4 and 5 will be by another. It does appear the quality of 4 and projected 5, as far as concrete I can speak for, it's much better put together. It just seems better all around. And it seems about roughly 85% the whole thing is finished.
My question is for Mike. Mike, has your team seen any issues out there?
Not yet.
Beyond this punch list at all? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? All right, I need a motion to approve item 8.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Casey. Need a second? And it can't be me.
I second it.
Second by Cheryl. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item 8, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone no, say no. Did you?
Oh, I didn't vote, did I? Yay.
Okay, so we have a belated yay, but we will take it nonetheless. And the motion to approve the one-year warranty period and release the maintenance bond for public infrastructure at Hills of Town Creek, Section 4 is approved. Item number 9, consideration and possible action on awarding a construction bid for the Klepper Street sidewalk project.
So enclosed in your packet, you've got a bid summary from the bids that were received on June 14th here at City Hall. We received 5 bids, all with what we consider to be reasonable prices. The lowest bid was from Environmental Allies in the amount of $231,279.20. We've worked with Environmental Allies in the past. I don't know that they've specifically done work in the city, but Chris and myself have worked with them numerous times in the past. We have no issues with Environmental Allies, and so we recommend awarding the contract to Environmental Allies.
They were the cheapest?
That's correct.
By a pretty significant margin, actually.
$3 grand.
The next bidder up was Elite Construction and Engineering Services for $234,108.50, so about $3,000 higher.
Remind me, but that original projection in the city budget was like 280 something, 282 or 285.
The MLA, I believe 220 was what
Oh, was it 220?
Our estimate for this project was 283.
That's what I thought.
Once our final cost estimate was 283, so bids came in better than we were expecting.
And the MEDC is putting this 200,000 towards that.
Let's get it done.
All right, so we'll need to read that recommendation as it is if someone wants to make a motion.
Make a motion to award the Klepper Sidewalk Construction Project to Environmental Allies Incorporated for $231,279.20.
I'll second.
Second by Carol. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item 9 is read, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And there are none opposed. And so we will award a construction bid for $231,279.20 to the Klepper Street Sidewalk Project to Environmental Allies Incorporated. Item number 10, consideration possible action regarding a proposal for a downtown district master drainage plan study from WGA Consulting Engineers.
So enclosed in your packet is a proposal for a downtown drainage study and master plan for the downtown area. This proposal was prepared upon request, and this is part of the downtown improvements, part of the McCowan Street improvements. So things that we have already done are noting waterline improvements that could be made. We've already done expansion to a 12-inch water line along Eva Street and Pond Street to help improve the downtown area. And we've also done cleaning and televising on your sanitary sewer lines in the downtown area. The third aspect that we want to take a look at is your storm sewers. The storm sewers that are currently underground, we really don't have much record of. 2 weeks ago, you approved a survey it's both a topographic survey that'll capture your elevations downtown, but it'll also capture an idea of at least elevations and pipe size of the storm sewer going through downtown. This study then picks up from the survey and will analyze the capacity of the storm sewer in addition to rainfall that's existing as of today. And then it'll also look at the proposed improvements after the McCowan Street improvements are complete and the kind of capacity that would be needed in your storm sewer system. The study also includes any kind of recommendations for improvements to the storm sewer that need to be done, as well as any kind of mitigation if detention is needed, recommendations such as that. So this is really the next step in moving towards the McCowan Street improvements.
Okay.
So your firm would be conducting the study?
Yes, sir.
You wouldn't be contracting it out?
No, sir. It would be done in-house.
How long?
So we will receive the files from the surveyor, I believe by the end of July, and then we'll be able to pick up from there, and then the study will be complete by the first week of September. In the meantime, we're able to do in-office things that don't require the survey data, such as requesting as-builts from TxDOT, kind of gathering data before the survey arrives. That way, whenever survey arrives, we can hit the ground running and be as efficient as possible.
So September 1st is earliest? Did I get that right? September 1st earliest, or is that when you're actually going to start?
No, sir. We'll start the study as soon as we have the survey data, which we're expecting to be the end of July, and then we're expecting to be complete with the drainage study the first week of September.
Very good.
Any other questions? Okay, need a motion to approve item number 10.
One more question.
Okay?
That is the entire downtown or just McGowan Street?
So it covers from 105 to Klepper
Mhm.
and 149 to Prairie.
Okay,
So
good.
it's all the downtown, really?
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct.
Very good, perfect. I make a motion to approve the master drainage plan study from WGA Consulting.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Casey, second by Carol. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving Item number 10 as read, say aye.
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 And there are none opposed, and the motion carries. Item number 11, consideration and possible action to approve the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation's expenditure of $286,457.50 for engineering and design services for the McCown Street Improvements Project.
Mayor and council, this project, to talk scope first, runs, again, it's on the McCown Street, runs from Caroline to College, including those two intersections there. This was part of the process that the MEDC put out a couple of months ago, building on the downtown design master plan from last year. This is one of the first sort of detailed aspects or detailed studies of the design work for the downtown. The end goal of this would be to have construction drawings that are ready to go out and bid and build. The engineers from the firm that was selected, which was also the firm that did the overall design for the downtown, is here this evening to talk about the details if you're curious. Again, the specifics of what their proposal includes. Just as a reminder, the action here for council is the approval of the expenditure, but you're certainly welcome to ask any details about the proposal, and I know the Lord would be happy to answer.
Absolutely. So they are present?
Yes,
She is.
Oh, okay.
Lori Sanzolsi from Buda Engineering.
So based on what we just spoke about with the downtown drainage study, how much of that will overlap?
We won't be doing any of the drainage except for surface drainage, and we'll identify spots that have to be tied into for part of the master plan for the drainage.
Okay. Based on the fact that we can't do anything on the top till we do something on the bottom, are we jumping the gun?
No, they'll be integrated. Our design process is probably going to take 9 months, and then with construction, that's when we'll integrate utilities and the drainage and the surface work, the streets and the pavement together.
Okay.
We definitely don't want you to build a street and then tear it up to put utilities in.
Right. Well, and that's my thing. And the other thing is we're gonna do a study, and we don't want to do overlapping studies. We don't need to pay 2 engineering firms to do the same job. So
We're not doing the same
Yeah.
work at all.
okay.
Your work is conceptual, practical layout of McCown primarily.
Through construction plans so that you can go out to bid. Obviously, that will have to wait until the utilities and the drainage are tied in, and the city can choose to take that up, or the EDC can choose to take that out for one project, or you can phase it in depending on how we decide to move forward for the design.
I guess, and it might just be my ignorance on what exactly it is that you're going to do. We have a concept already, which is a concept. We can't do anything until we know what's underneath. So it's really hard to bid a job if you don't know what has to be done first. So I guess, I don't know, I think I need more information maybe on what exactly it is that the $286,000 is paying for.
It's for the design of the street, the sidewalks, the connectivities between Carolyn and College. The underground has a little bit to do with the work we do, it's just more the tie-ins. We determine the surface elevations, and we're getting that from the survey that the city is doing.
Mhm.
So we're not duplicating any efforts. We're going to coordinate with the survey that has contracted to do the work. We're going to tie it in. They go hand in hand, but the design for the utilities and the underground sites don't dictate where the business sections are done, and other designs.
So the nature of the whole construction process itself with the under and the over is concurrently, best done concurrently, not waiting until what would effectively be maybe 8 to 9 months before the underground is even ready, right? And then you're just kind of getting started. I know that was a pet peeve for me. I wanted to see that vision of McCowan from 105 happen. And it ties into TxDOT issues still we don't have yet. But this understanding especially is not even from the highway. It's really from Caroline to College. And that's the biggest part that needs to be cleaned up. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done there.
Right, we want to look at the overall vision from there, and obviously, money is the constraint for construction. When we start looking at that vision and we start drilling down to what exactly the EDC and the city is looking for, then we can do our cost estimates and determine where we go. Do we do the first section of McAllen? Do we do the driving surface of McAllen and then integrate the appurtenances later? It's a balancing act because you guys need to know how much money it's going to cost.
Sure.
And this is the first step to help you get there for construction.
So none of this 286,000 goes towards construction at all? It's all just engineering and conceptual?
It's not conceptual, it's actual full design plans.
But you're telling me you can do a full design without knowing what the underground is first?
The utilities have really nothing, the water and sewer have nothing to do with the surface of the pavement. Drainage-wise, it's just the tying for the surface into the pipes that are underground.
Catherine, can you help with that, some of that?
I can. So the idea behind doing this at the same time, the reason they're both on your agenda tonight, is that Gunda and WGA can work simultaneously. We're doing everything below ground, Gunda's doing everything above ground. The only thing that our work might change in Gunda's design would be a location of a manhole or a location of an inlet. And we would be working concurrently with Gunda to make one cohesive design for the city. It's just a matter of specializations, and we'll take care of everything underground, but what we're working on would not impact Gunda's design very much at all.
My only question is that, as I built houses for several years, and moving a toilet 2 feet inside of a bathroom can completely destroy a master bathroom. So my idea of knowing what's underground before we worry about what's on top of the ground is a concern for me. So it does matter to me that we know exactly, because I have a feeling we're going to have to do a lot of work because of what we've seen already with leakage and big cooling puddles and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I'll take your word for it that you can do it both at the same time because it is conceptual, we're not doing construction. But
The idea is that once both designs enter construction, we would only be disturbing the ground once.
right.
We'd go in, do any underground improvements that need to be done, and then our contractor would get out of the way, and then Gunda's contractor would step in immediately after and take over.
Gotcha. Okay. Has this been put out to bid before?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. Thank
You
you.
okay?
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the expenditure as mentioned for item number 11. I'll go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read the item there in your motion. Read right off the agenda if you want. Anyone?
I'll do it. I'm gonna make a motion for the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation expenditure of $286,457.50 for the engineering and design services for the McCown Street Improvement Project.
Motion by Casey, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carol. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. Council ready for the question? All in favor of approving item number 11 as read, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And item number 11 is approved. Item number 12, consideration of possible action to approve the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation's expenditure for the purchase of real property located at 21050 Eva Street, Montgomery, Texas 77356 in the amount of $600,000.
Mayor and council, you've heard some discussion about this before tonight, but on the 20th of this month at the EDC meeting, the EDC approved the purchase of the property. This is the northeast corner of 105 and 149 for the tract that's south of the existing law office and college. So again, the EDC has approved this. The amount is over $10,000. So this is coming to City Council for their review and approval. The EDC has elected to pay cash for this out of their reserves to avoid origination fees, finance charges, and interest charges. They've got the money on hand to do it, and believe that this would be a very critical piece to the downtown and kind of the gateway to downtown. A lot of their discussions have centered around sort of the highest and best use of the property. I do believe that there is some space for the civic interests of this property as opposed to the commercial interest of this property. They both are valid goals and valid, purposes. The highest and best commercial use of this property wouldn't really take into account or may not take into account the historical context of downtown and where it is. So I certainly don't object to the EDC making the purchase at all. And I'm happy to try and answer any questions you guys have on it. I wasn't involved for a lot of the real estate discussion piece of it. A couple of y'all are on the EDC board and know a little bit more about the background of the discussions, but I had to help any way I can.
Yeah, we're the same.
My first comment is that in the packet it calls it Adams Park. No one has made the improvement or made the motion to call it Adams Park. So I just want the public to know that is not the name of the piece of property at this time.
Thank you for pointing that out. I don't know that the EDC has any intent, again, I wasn't involved particularly, I don't think the EDC has any intent on changing the use of the property anytime in the short term.
No, it was simply a matter of opportunity and opportunity to not lose control of something we felt like was valuable for the city for a lot of different reasons. There's still some unknown questions regarding, property immediately adjacent to that. But this is probably a long-range thing, whatever it is. There's not an easy or something that comes to mind conceptually that anybody in the EDC could envision from that property. Issues that were raised about burial were considered. In fact, it was considered from the very get-go. But I don't know the nuts and bolts behind that, except for those types of things can affect price or whatnot. I don't know. And it certainly could affect what you could do with that property. So all those things were known and stated. And Mr. Nelson waived his fee, negotiated, and that price, from what I understood, was like $24 a square foot. There was a comp of $30 a square foot, so it's, even though it sounds very high, property's high, especially in downtown corners. And so it seemed very plausible to us, again, to seize the opportunity to make sure it didn't become something that definitely didn't fit and obstructed the view to the downtown, which we're told in Gunda research and other types of research, a lot of us would like to be able to see the downtown way back towards the bank. Well, that's gone out the window. Let's don't lose this opportunity to get some visual to our downtown on a very critical piece of property.
Last note I'll add is the city does currently have a lease. As you know, on the property, we lease it from Ms. Adams. We will very likely be coming back to council if this does go through with a new lease agreement that would be the same lease agreement with the EDC. Just say let the use of the open space, the LED sign, and that kind of thing.
The MEDC account is like almost 2.6 million. Projected it could be 2.8 by the end of the fiscal year, so paying cash it's easily there. Any other questions? All right, need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the real property located at 21050 Eula Street, Montgomery, Texas, in the amount of $600,000.
Motion, need a second.
I second.
Second by Cheryl. Motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor of approving item number 12 as read, say aye.
Aye.
So there are 3 ayes. And so the motion to approve item number 12 is approved.
Can I ask a question, or is it too late?
I feel free to.
On the MEDC motion, we added that to check on the graves, and that was a stipulation of purchasing it. But I guess we're not going to do that with this motion, is that right?
I think it's still valid with the check on the graves, because that's what EDC directed. Here, we're just looking at the ratification of the purchase.
Purchase and the purchase price.
It could be in there, it could not be in there, but it doesn't invalidate EDC's direction to
Okay.
to look into it.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, item number 13, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, amending Section 57 of Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages of the City Code of Ordinances, repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing a severance clause and Texas Open Meetings Clause, and providing an effective date.
Council, as you know, ordinances are a lot like policies. You have to review them every now and then to see if you're doing the right things on them. We looked at the one on the consumption on the streets of sidewalks and alleys. On this one, it talks about having the permits. We've always gotten the alcoholic beverage permits from the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. We've gotten those permits, but we have never ever, I went through to see if I could find any permission slips or anything that was authorized by any of the business owners in that area, or anyone who has a business in that area. And sometimes some of those places were leased, but the owner still had not signed off. So in order for us to be in compliance, we needed to remove that from this ordinance. Where you talk about, and it's the part where it says alcoholic beverage permission letters and authorization from owners of property within the designated areas where you consume an alcohol. We've had festivals there for at least the last 4 or 5 years, at least the last 3 years. I can count for the last 3 years where that has not been done.
Okay, any other questions? All right, need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, amending Section 57 of Chapter 6.
We have a motion, a second.
Second.
Second by Casey. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 And there are none opposed. And the motion to approve item number 13 as read, or as it reads, does pass. Item number 14, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, amending Section 206 and 258 of Chapter 86, Traffic and Vehicles of the City Code of Ordinances, repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing a severance clause and a Texas Open Meetings Act clause, and providing for an effective date.
Again, Council, there were 2 updates on this one. The restriction on routes for escorting parades. It reads to accept the necessary crossing along otherwise permitted routes where no parade shall contain any portion of the following streets, which was State Highway 105, 149, Lone Star Parkway, and 1097 for a period to exceed 15 minutes. This is an ordinance was written 26 years ago. They've probably had 26,000 parades on that street. So I don't like helping people break the law, so we need to change that as well.
So we changed it to say what exactly? to remove, so they can't be on it for longer than 15
No,
minutes?
we removed that. There's another section in there where it talks about having parades on those streets. This one says not to exceed 15 minutes. We've had holiday parades and all the other parades there that stay on that road a lot longer than 15 minutes.
Right.
The last parade we took along that road, we actually got it through there within about 22 minutes.
Right.
So we were still not within this ordinance. So we're moving that from 105. Somebody wrote this 26 years ago, and I have no idea why.
I promise, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I promised the business owner I'd bring this up. This seems able, or maybe a good time to say it. I talked to Dave briefly about it earlier this week, and certainly doesn't have anything specifically to do with this, I realize. But his concern was that when we were moving that ginormous object through town, and we got a window, and that window changed just a little bit, but anyway, we try to communicate with people, and when power goes out, and we're residents, we're inconvenienced, it's not, and then you get a message from somebody who's in the middle of a wedding. It's their business, it's a wedding for crying out loud, and they're hotter than a hornet. So I just want to use this as an opportunity to say, as we're looking at this, my first response to him was, I saw the thing parked. I don't know how the guy perpendicularly parked it for a while, but with all that construction now, you couldn't have sent that around Lone Star. But I can see where at some point in time, we need to try to visit something to route those large objects, because those wires get picked up and people get zapped with electricity. And again, it's an inconvenience in one thing, but it's a disaster for those businesses that are open. So it's been suggested maybe that's a nighttime thing, 11 p.m. to 6, that type of thing. So management, if you would stick that under your hat, and chief, deal with that later. Again, it's not specific to this, but I promise you I'll bring it up. And so.
That's good.
So you took that completely out of this ordinance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the ordinance that's here before us is the total ordinance? Or this is just the section?
Just the section.
This,
Okay.
just the part we're amending?
Just the amendment.
Thank you.
We also amended the section of this ordinance where it talks about golf carts. It seems that people were unclear about what an intersection was. You get a lot of people who ask about the Prairie Street coming across Prairie, going into Brookshire Brother parking lot. That's not an intersection. An intersection is those junctions that come curb to curb, and that's where you're supposed to cross at. We get a lot of questions about that all the time. So we just clarified that in the ordinance as to what that intersection was and what makes an intersection. So that was just clarified.
Okay. Any other questions? I didn't.
So, hey, in the future, if there's any opportunity for us to highlight the changes of what it used to say
Yes.
versus what it's going to say, so we have a management of change opportunity so we can compare, it'd make it much more easy to understand.
Okay.
Because I couldn't wait to hear what his explanation of the two items were, so I appreciate it.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, amending Section 206 and 258. But on here it says 259.
No? Both places?
Look, on the ordinance itself, it says
Oh.
259.
Oh, sure it does. Escort.
Okay, so are we okay? 258 and 259?
It's on the actual whereas part.
On the,
I think it's a typo.
it says escort, certified peace officer, section 86-259. Applicants for a parade permit shall be required to provide an escort. We didn't discuss that at all. So I don't want to approve this ordinance if,
So you're including that too?
did that change?
No, the only thing changed was was the amount of time on those roadways with the parade.
And where,
And that's at 86,259.
Okay, so that was not put on the agenda, but legal, can
We'll have to,
and see the section 86-2062 talks about the golf court thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So there's nowheres on this ordinance, does it talk about the parade thing, is that right?
Yeah, you're right, and what we do is we take the caption from the ordinance, so we'll have to bring back the 86-259 at the next council meeting. Because it's not on the caption of the ordinance and not on the agenda. But we can do the
But 258,
Yes, we can do the 258 and we can do the 206.
And that's what's written in the motion for it?
I don't know.
I'm not
I think it's
comfortable with that.
I'm with Carol on this, and the fact that I think it's clustered. I think there's been a mistake.
it would
Cross.
probably be cleaner
Bring the whole
to
thing.
bring the whole thing back.
I agree.
Okay, so we can table this,
Parts of it.
we can get a motion to table this until July the 12th.
Okay.
Good catch,
So do we have a motion to table that? You want to,
Chief, was there anything demanding this change between now and July the 12th?
We just wanted to get this into motion.
Yes, sir.
We've got a parade that's coming up on July 2nd.
Right?
And to continue to violate these ordinances, our own ordinances, is really not how we should be doing things.
Right.
So we put these into motion so we can get those done. But I understand it was put on as 258 instead of 259. So if we have to come back, it's fine. Just know that these things are already in motion, and we
Yes,
need
sir.
to get them changed as soon as
well,
possible.
Alan, is there a possibility motions are amendable? Can we reduce the whole thing down to just what he
You
needs?
can adopt just the changes to those two sections tonight if you want.
Let's do that.
You know, if, what are we talking about, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, at least the one about the parade.
The parade's coming up in a few days.
Yeah, that's
so-
coming up, but like I said, we wanted to make sure we had these things in motion.
Sure.
So we wouldn't continue to do that. So it's fine. Whatever decision you guys make, it's fine.
Let's do the one for the parade stuff.
Okay, so which one would
I'll
deal
make
with
the
parade?
motion to approve the ordinance for the 206 and the 258.
Well, it looks like there
That's-
really were no changes to 258.
Yeah.
The typographical error was that 258 should have been 259.
Okay, well, I'm not making that. So I'll make a motion to approve section 206
Okay,
of chapter 86 as of tonight. Is that all right?
does that sound good?
That worked.
Yeah,
Is that okay? And that lets him
Yeah. Have you
be
guys,
able,
did you approve that 6.57, the consumption?
Yeah, we did that.
Okay, yes. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now the 206 is just more of a clarification of where your intersections
Of
are.
an
The
intersection.
259 is the length of time we can be on 105 for a parade.
Yes, sir.
oh, I'm real confused.
What we
Okay.
need is 259.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so we
So
don't have a
the
second yet, so you're
ordinance
free to
is
go.
correct.
No,
The
this ordinance.
Agenda is not.
No, the ordinance language is exactly the same as we have down here on item 14. Because that's a copy and paste. So it should have said section 206 and 259 of chapter 86.
So that's the only error is the 259. All right, I'll make a motion.
We didn't make any amendments to section 258.
Okay.
It was just 206 and 259.
Okay, so
However, the ordinance is, caption of the ordinance is wrong.
Mhm.
The
action of the ordinance.
Yes, just wrong on the agenda. So if you'd like to come back, as long as you guys know we have this in motion, and we're not breaking ordinances.
So
Okay.
if it gets too confusing, you might want to table it until the next meeting.
I'm going to make the motion to table item number 14.
Until July 12th.
Till July the 12th.
Motion is to table until July the 12th by Carol, is now seconded by Casey. This motion's debatable, still could be amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item number 14 to table this issue until the next meeting, July the 12th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries as stated.
Okay.
Well, that was easy. Item 15, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, authorizing the signers for all City of Montgomery banking accounts for First Financial Bank and providing an effective date. This is pretty standard stuff, so
It is the one change that I would make on the recommendation is I envision the council addressing the place 5 appointment ahead of this item. Certainly, you can't add someone to it that you don't know who it's going to be yet. So
Right.
the option would just be to do it as is. We don't have that last place 5 as a sign on the account in the interim until we get someone appointed. You can always table this down to the bottom of the agenda after you make the appointment if you wanted to. I don't know that the one signer, being on there or not is enough to warrant doing that, but.
it's not a sense of urgency. So if council wants to move it to the next meeting as well, they can do so.
Right.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to table item 15, signers on the accounts, to July the 12th.
Got a motion, and have a second?
Second.
I'll take Cheryl's. There you go. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of taking item number 15 and tabling it until July 12th, I'd say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries as stated. We will table the issue. Item number 16, consideration of possible action to approve a text pool resolution amending authorized representatives.
Mayor, Council, this one is a little bit similar, but the difference is the only signers on the text pool or the authorized representatives on the text pool account of both the mayor and me as the interim city administrator. Individual council positions aren't on that. So what we're looking for here is to update from the previous mayor, city administrator, to current mayor, and interim city administrator. There was something about this resolution, there was a number on it called the location number. That was a confidential number that we shouldn't make public. So that's why the resolution wasn't in there.
Okay?
So does this go hand in hand with the one we just tabled?
No, they're related, but they're not different. One is for the local bank accounts, the other is for the text pool accounts.
Okay.
The
Savings account.
And the two people in question are here, and there's no question
Right.
about who these people are.
Okay.
So I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve a text pool resolution amending authorized representatives
To be,
to be signators.
and say the names.
Oh, God, which ones are they?
My
Mayor
name's Byron.
and
Okay. So you want me to list all? So it'll be Byron Sanford, TJ Wilkerson, Carol Langley, Casey Olson, Cheryl Fox.
Is that what we want? No.
no.
No, that's
Just
not.
in this box.
It's just
What?
him, David.
Out of this, just me and Dave.
Which one do I got here?
You got a different one.
No, that's the same one.
Just that paragraph right there.
Text pool. Yeah, there you got it.
Resolution.
We're just amending the authorized representatives.
Okay. The resolution to amend the authorized representatives of the city's text pool accounts. in order to add Mayor Byron Sanford and interim city administrator Dave McCrickendall.
There we go. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Cheryl. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of amending as stated, item number 16, say aye.
Aye.
And there are none opposed, the motion carries. All right, number 17, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, granting to Energy Texas Incorporated the right, privilege, and franchise to conduct within the city an electrical lighting and power business, providing an effective date upon acceptance in writing by Energy Texas Incorporated.
Mayor and Council, we tabled this last meeting, looking for a little bit more of a summary and to clarify one point in particular, which I did with Entergy, and that is their base rate factor or the base factor rate that they charge. They never adjust that. Cities do have the ability to levy an additional fee on top of that. She said not many do, but certainly you could. But the only way that fee ever goes up for the end user would be if the city elected to raise its franchise rate.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
absolutely. Again, just for reference, it's about a $3 to $4 charge for a normal house every month, which is what, or I guess based on the energy that we use at home.
And how long was this?
This is a 25-year, the
25
last one
years.
was 50, this current one is 25.
And does it say exactly when the city receives their check?
We do once, which I believe is in September. Anthony, does September sound right for Entergy franchisees?
It comes in September, yes.
That's when it used to, but did they change that in here? No, it's still.
Still
as far as
section
you know.
10.
Yep, there it is,
Yep.
September.
And that fee equal to is the part that we were needing.
Yes.
Okay, need a motion?
Make a motion for the ordinance of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, granting to Energy Texas Incorporated the right, privilege, and franchise to conduct within the city an electrical lighting and power business, providing effective date upon acceptance and writing by Energy Texas Incorporated.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Casey, second by Carol. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of adopting this ordinance, item number 17, as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there are no objections, so the ordinance does pass for item 17. Item 18, consideration and possible action regarding a nomination for the Montgomery County Emergency Communication District Board of Managers.
Members of council, so Mayor and Council, you see this item here, the information that's included, as you know, our current, or the city currently has, for the past 4 years, we've had someone on, our city administrator has been on the board of directors for the communications district. Mr. Tram's term expires on September 30th. That effectively leaves 2 more meetings. We're talking with the executive director of the district. He said that Richard does plan on continuing to serve out that term. I don't know that I don't know the process changing, but my recommendation there is to let those 2 meetings run out and allow him to get to the end of his term. Again, we are part of a nomination process, and we are part of an election process that includes all the cities. As put in the information packet, cities get to nominate 2 members for appointment to the board. Currently, the city of Conroe's city administrators on there, and again, I have received a request from the city administrator of Shenandoah that she would like to be nominated for it, and asked the city council to consider her as a nominee. Mr. Van Steenberg said that he had received her name along with a couple others as nominees for the position. And one note, I will apologize for kind of the cutoff sentence there at the bottom of my agenda report, if you got that far down. There's no disadvantage to a city not having direct representation on that board. They're not making decisions that affect individual cities. They're making decisions that affect the entire county. Recently, within the past year or so, the appraisal district has bought, not the appraisal district, the emergency district, does have land just past the KOA on top of the hill. They plan to build their new facility there, so we're going to at least have a little bit of a different geographical context to the district headquarters and the district itself when they're right at our doorstep. So again, the action tonight is to nominate someone. You can nominate anyone you want to. The voting will come back next month, roughly, for us.
So they're doing this now for a September appointment?
Right, at the beginning of the term. So they send out their nomination forms to all the cities, and again, cities get to appoint two, the Commissioners Court gets to appoint two, and the fire departments appoint one. So they send out the nomination process or the nomination application to all the cities. They collect all those, then they form their ballot. They'll send their ballot back out to the cities and jurisdictions to then vote on.
That ballot comes out late July, early August. So does management have a recommendation?
We
on
won't
this?
have a city administrator by that time.
Right. My only thought is, you don't have a permanent city administrator by that point. Again, I don't feel like that puts the city at a terrible disadvantage
No.
For the next 2 years in terms of adequate representation with the district itself. So the option is to come up with a name of our own, or again, Kathy Rader, the city administrator for Shenandoah, had asked to be considered for appointment, and we could certainly nominate her if he chose to.
Anybody volunteer?
I did, just not throwing him under the bus, but I did ask Chief, and I got a hard no.
I was waiting for his hand to go way up high.
I did ask Mike as well. Mike said he didn't feel like he was fit for that, or that role was quite fit out for his skill set either. So I don't have any objections with nominating the city administrator for the city of Shenandoah. Certainly, she's already going to be on the ballot because she's been nominated. So it's,
Okay, what's the council's?
I'm not really sure what our action's supposed to be here, so.
Well, to be clear, you're not required to nominate anybody.
Yeah.
If you do not know of somebody that you want to nominate, you can just choose not to nominate and see, you get to vote.
When the ballot comes out,
August,
we'll see
the ballot
who's on
comes
there.
out, and we'll see who other cities may have nominated.
Right.
I'm good, just let her ride.
I am too. I'm not nominating that lady. So
All right,
we are
so
going
if we have no
to-
motion, then it dies effectively.
I don't think so. Adam, do you think they need to take affirmative action not to nominate someone, or do you?
No, you don't have to.
Just let it go.
If you have no motion, you're right, it dies.
So I make the motion to take no motion on number 18.
Take no action.
No action
Can we do
on
that?
number 18. Well, yeah, you got to do something.
Okay, so we have a
Julie told you
motion
that.
to take no answer,
Take no action.
take no action on this issue. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Casey. Yeah, it's debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. All in favor of taking no action, say aye.
Aye.
And we take no action on 18. Departmental reports.
Mayor, first, I'm going to give a short one. The city administrator search, just to give you a quick update, again, we're adding the background information to what the company has requested that we provide, and expect to get that to them in the next few days, so they have what they need to move forward. And the budget prep. Obviously, in a couple weeks or just a few weeks, we've got a budget workshop coming up, and so I'm meeting with the department heads and working with them on that. In the administrative side, we do have a new utility clerk up front. Ty Dixon has started with us. This is going to be a great asset for the city. And we are working, kind of dovetailing into those two items that were on the agenda earlier about the records retention, records management. Nikki has scheduled us in September to get a third-party review of all of our records, kind of understand where we're at, what we need to keep, what we don't need to keep, and just kind of do a little housekeeping on our record side as we continue to transfer those records into digital records, but then also just as the retention schedule times out some of those things. And unless you have any questions, that's all I have on the administrative report.
All right, item number 20, finance report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll first go over the quarterly investment report since it's short and sweet. It's just a summary of all your CDs, money markets, and pledges as of March 31st of 2022. I want to see if you have any questions over that first. Okay, going through your financial report, just some highlights for the month of May. Page number 2 on the report, your account balances for your general fund. You have a total of 6 months worth of reserves in there. For your MEDC, you're just over 2 years reserve, and your utility fund, just a little over 1 year reserve. Next 4 pages are your list of disbursements and receipts for each of your funds, ending in, from May 1st through May 31st. And then the next few pages are your budget. So far, as of May 31st, you've collected 72% of revenues for the year, and you have expended 58%. And then just a side note, we did receive your June sales tax, which will show in your next month's report. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the highest that I've seen that's a non-quarterly month, and that was just under $372,000. That's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Any questions, Council? Item number 21, sales tax report.
We have Derek Michael here from SRI to give the quarterly report, and as a note, I will be sending out a confidential sales tax report to you guys.
Okay.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Derek Michael, and then as he mentioned there, I also submit the confidential report. If you guys will follow around the public one, and it'll note that the confidential report has the actual...
Time out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was having trouble understanding.
Go ahead.
The confidential report has the actual allocations by business entities within the top 25, and then the actual quarterly and non-quarterly contributions from the top 25 as well. And so just scrolling past the cover page into the information through June, you have 5,567 active taxpayers on your confidentiality report from the comptroller. For June, you have 2,154. And so June of 2021, you have 2,058. So that's a 4% increase over June of 2021, bringing your average to 2,159. On the next page, so far for your calendar year, sales tax, you've recovered $2,345,956.79. And still your May of 2022 is reflecting the highest sales tax contributions by 2,365. And then the next paragraph right there will be your top 25 for the year. And it's always usually McCoy's, Kroger, and Chick-fil-A will be the ones that will be the top 3 for that. And then I'm sure that now that the Panda Express is on there, it'll hit the top 25 within the next few months or so. But we'll eventually get that top 25. All right, the next page will be your top 25 sales tax payers for June of 2022. And obviously the McCoy's and Kroger Chick-fil-A is fourth. The couple of new ones were the Flores Produce and Frontier Technology. Driven quite a bit, actually. Okay, the next page after that will be a comparison between your June and May. And then in June is your non-quarterly filing month, and then May was your quarterly filing month. And then looking at your confidentiality report, you'll see a huge significant difference between the two filing months. And then you have Frontier Technologies, as always, Kroger and McCoy's is the top two. And then you have Entergy Texas was for May, and then third was Flores Produce for June. And the page after that will be your summary. For June of 2022, you received $371,794.81. In June of 2021, you received $279,583.10. It's about a 33% increase over last year. So far for your fiscal year of 2022, you're at $3,450,637.29, with your adjusted budget at $4.3 million, your 80% budget, and on this trend, you should easily meet your budget or exceed it by a little bit by the end of your year. So total allocations is $39,400,113.78. And then the very bottom will be your calendar year averages. And so your average sales tax contribution is $390,000. Over 2021, it was $339,000. And the page after that will be your monthly allocations graph back to 2016. And then it just reflects your $371,000 for 2022 in June. The page after that will be your previous year by month variance, and that's also reflecting the 33% increase over last year. On the page after that will be your yearly allocations with your yearly variance. And then it's showing you 3.45637. I haven't adjusted the actual, the yellow, the green line was the old budget. I'll have it adjusted for the next one. And so the green line will show you as where your budget is, where it stands. Right now, from the last one, it was at 2.2 million. You guys were way past your budget, and I conferred with the city administrator and got that corrected. The page after that will be your median trends, which are averages, and then your total business entity breakdowns for fiscal business entities within your district. I'm actually working on a confidentiality one. So over 5,000 business entities. Some of the NAICS codes are not very clear, and so I'm having to research what exactly, if it's a telecommunication company, what kind it is, so I can give you more comprehensive business entity breakdown for the actual confidentiality report itself, for businesses that are outside of your district. Okay. And then the page after that is just the actual coding for the NAICS codes and what they're supposed to be. So that's the report for you. I actually have been contacted by the comptroller, the Ruthie Grace. You guys were having an issue with the 380 payment or the development payment. And so that business entity has been sent to the enforcement department. And so they're going to follow up further with them and then make them, I don't know if any of you remember, the issue with that is that they have a sales tax ID permit that's up on the hill at Summit. And so they need one that's also reflecting the sales tax permit of the one at the strip center by the Hot Works. And so they don't have one. They do have to have one required by law, and the enforcement department is now going to be working on that to get that one taken care of. There are a couple of other business entities that I believe are operating here within the district, but their sales tax permits are going to Magnolia. So I'll be also reporting those to the enforcement department as well. And so that's all I have for you.
We have a group looking at Airbnb extensively. Do you ever consult with that group? Is that ever part of our considerations of?
As far as like the hotel tax?
Hotel tax, I noticed it was.
I can look into it and see what kind of nomenclature they have. It's usually not something that we've gotten into. We just usually do sales tax, but we do sometimes do.
I didn't know if that linked with what we were doing.
They work in tandem, but not really on the same things. Again, one is sales, one is hot tax. So,
Okay.
So they're talking to the same folks in terms of the enforcement of things, but they're different.
Different deal. Okay.
But if you need anything for me to research, I'd be happy to do that.
Oh, they're all over it. It's taken them a while, but it's yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 22, Police Department.
Evening, Mayor and Council. You have my report. I would like to highlight some letters and some phone calls I've gotten this week about the work that our officers are doing, and also some of the technology that you guys have improved and how those things are working. I got this letter here yesterday, and it said, I would like to commend Officer Shaw and Sergeant Bauer on an awesome work regarding a call that came in on 6/26/22, a job of a felony theft of traffic stop, subsequently led to the arrest of both subjects. Montgomery County SO has learned that these suspects has committed several AMT robberies all over the county and all over other counties. So they want to thank the officers. They broke into the Mid-South ATM machine here. Looks like they got maybe about $6,000. But our officers did a felony stop here, put those folks in jail, and they're doing some really good work. Also, when you're talking about the work these guys are doing, we have some of the technology that we use is leads online. Terra Vista, I don't know if you guys know, there was several, there was a vehicle stolen there and several vehicle burglaries. We're starting to return the property to those people. As of yesterday and today, our investigators have been returning those people's property to them. We've got the stolen truck. Also, we're going to be putting a warrant out on the suspect. We've got the suspect. We've got his video. He's all the way out of Houston, 610 area. But we've got his video and we've got his name, so we're going to be putting some charges on him. He'll be filing charges on him. We last year we put in the license plate readers. We've not put all those license plate readers in yet. We've only done the ones that are on Lone Star. With those license plate readers that's been in so far, we've got a stolen vehicle, we've got a stolen trailer, and we've got a subject who was wanted for aggravated assault out of Lufkin, just off of those LPs and those hits. So this technology is working, and we've only put up the 4 that's on Lone Star. The rest have not been put up. And one of our new officers, one of our new female officers, she grabbed this call by the teeth. This guy's been threatening his wife, has been following her all over the state, all over Florida, threatening to kill her. Couldn't find out why. Come to find out, he had her car. He had tagged her car. He'd also tagged her phone. But happy to say she stayed on it until she put him in jail last week, and she caught COVID doing it. So.
Oh, no.
So these guys are doing they're doing a really good job in this technology. We said we'd update you on how those things are working. So those are the things that they're doing for us. We're putting some people in jail, turning some people's property, and they're just doing really good police work while we're sleeping in the middle of the night snowing. Yeah. They're out here taking care of business. So I want to highlight that. Thank you.
Chief, we got a question.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to commend you, the program that you have with the police department that'll watch your house when you're on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, those of you who are here interested or have used it or leave town or do anything like that, my wife and I were on vacation. My daughter was in and out taking care of the beagles. She left the door unlocked. Not open, but unlocked. I got a phone call from Chief that said, hey, man, your door's unlocked. So right away, so we were able to get a hold of her and tell her to get the door locked. And then when we came home a day early, actually, and one of his officers was wondering who we were, right? so it is a great service, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Can we expect? Were you talking exclusively of the flock system? We're going to be.
Yeah,
can you give us something that's specific, maybe 4 months from now, that can give us a year's?
Yeah, we'll keep updating those.
Okay.
Like I said, those are 3 hits with a stolen trailer, stolen vehicle, and the subject was wanted for aggravated assault. So anytime those things are put on a hit list anywhere, be it Conroe, be it Dallas, be it outside Houston, our guys get those alerts in their trucks and their cars, and they know exactly where these vehicles are. Because we got the trailer at Starbucks. So.
Good work. Thank you. Item 23, Municipal Court Report. Kimberly.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The court report for May 2022, the police department ran click it or ticket in the month of May. So we were able to collect 192 citations, and the revenue was $26,584.71 for the month of May. Are there any questions for the court report? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 24, Utilities.
utilities, or I'll hit just a couple of the items here. Total revenue for the month in the office was $314,900. That was about $170,000 worth of utilities, just under $50,000 worth of permits, and then some other items that were there. In terms of water usage, again, as we get into these hot and dry months, Memory Park is the perennial extremely high water user. We have chased that animal for years now, looking to find ways to slice and dice the water usage out there, and I believe that we're about as efficient as we get. I mean, it's something that his guys are out there on, all the time, looking at zones, looking at, individual heads. But I'll be happy to answer any other questions you've got on the utility report. This one may change up a little bit next month when you look at it. This is kind of a holdover report when there weren't other reports that also kind of address the same thing. So we're going to tweak this one a little bit to fall better in line with some of the other reports.
Remind me what the property damage deductible, or TML property damage, reimbursement was?
Well, three repairs.
Well, 3.
Oh, yeah.
That was where we had
Yeah.
added the surge protection under that.
Okay. Anyone else? Item 25, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have my report in front of you. I will not read through the whole thing. A couple of small things that confirmed: WGA, Miss Amy Brown and family, Mayor Byron Sanford, Rebecca Huss, and Mr. David Corkville. So just wanted to publicly say thank you to all of you for made my guys week for sure. That's the way to a public guy's heart, through his stomach.
I noticed I was one of the cheaper in that list of things, but we're glad you ate well.
We appreciate it. And I did add a chart onto the monthly report showing the locates. This is just to show the uptick in the work that we're doing just on the locate side with the growth coming in. These are the 811 locates, and we do respond to the water and sewer side of that. They've become, it definitely has increased a lot. We've noticed the amount of time that we're spending doing locates has grown significantly. So we'll keep a watch on that and just keep at it. And other than that, do y'all have any questions for the report? I would like to just say one thing to Councilman Olson about you asked me about the inspections with WGA. Did we see anything? Just to let y'all know, whenever we do these inspections, Public Works is a part of that. We're going out on site. We're actually the ones that flood the streets for the engineers. And at least one of my guys is walking around with them as a second set of eyes to help locate issues. Okay. So it's definitely a joint effort. We're with them every time.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
On these locates, Mike, you are getting requests to do those locates?
Yeah, so we are a member of
saying?
811, have been since 2014.
Right.
And so as the locates come in, we have a geographic map with 811 that is just outside the city limits. We drew it just a couple of feet outside just to make sure we catch everything. But as the builder puts in a request, it automatically comes to us to, to locate. And all the details are in it, what they need, footages, all that. But yeah, with all the new homes going in, it's definitely been on the uptick.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank y'all.
Item 26, Utility Operations.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have your May Utility Operations Report. Page 2, we have the listing of your district alerts for the month. Page 3 is your wastewater plant flow detail. Our average daily flow was 204,800 gallons. Your 3-month average is at 194,267. You're at 51% of your permanent capacity right now. Page 4, we have your effluent mine report. All samples were in compliance for the month of May. And page 5, we have your water production chart and accountability at 98%. A big question right now is, are we going to have to start drought contingencies? The answer is we already looked into that. Right now, you only have about 25% of your total capacity. So you're very healthy there, but I would still recommend people to water conservatively in these drier times. Page 6 and 7 are supplemental charts with your groundwater production and water accountability. And that's all I have to report, unless anyone has any questions.
So we are at stage on the drought thing, no stage?
We're not at we haven't hit any triggers even on stage 1 yet.
Not a stage yet, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I had some people asking. It's like, I haven't heard, so we should be fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 27, engineers report.
So our engineering report, item number 1 is your water plant number 3 improvements project. Your contractor is just about complete. They've got a couple more items to take care of, but in the meantime, we are doing some field testing for facilities, making sure everything is operational and ready to put into service once the project is complete. On page 2 of our report, the Martin Luther King regrading and sanitary sewer rehab contractor is continuing with point repairs out there and culvert replacement underneath the driveways for the drainage improvements. They're doing a pretty good job out there. Haven't heard of a whole lot of issues. Item number 3, and then kind of throughout my report, so we met with TxDOT on Monday to talk about a handful of issues, items that are ongoing with the city or we hadn't really heard many updates. The first one was items 3 and 4 on page 2 of my report, your traffic signal warrant analysis on Buffalo Springs and 1097, and then Buffalo Springs and 105. TxDOT confirmed that these signals are in design, and according to them, if they are in design for TxDOT, that means TxDOT will be funding them. They advised that the way it works is that they will be completed, the design will be completed, and then they'll be put on he said it's a first come, first served list for when the signals are completed. I asked if we could do 1097 and 105 Buffalo Springs at the same time. I feel like that would make the most sense, and he said that that's definitely something we can discuss as the time gets closer. Item 5 on here is your sanitary sewer cleaning and televising phase 1. Your contractor, Pinnacle Pumping, has gone out of business, but they will be completing the work under this contract with a subcontractor. So we are not at this time engaging a bonding company, anything like that. They're completing the work with a subcontractor. Jumping down to items 8 and 9, your Old Plantersville waterline extension and force main extension. As just a reminder, these are related to the Redbird Meadows development. And so Redbird Meadows engineer, LJA, is completing the survey, and once we have those files back, we'll be proceeding with design. Moving on to page 3 of my report, I just want to touch on one plan review is Discount Tire. So the last thing we were waiting on was an executed easement document. We received that on the 22nd. So that was the last thing we were waiting on to approve their plans, and they will be good to go. The rest are just a continuation of the plan reviews ongoing in the city. And then jumping over to page 4 of the report, item 2 is your TPDES permit renewal. We received both renewed permits on May 25th and June 1st for your 2 wastewater treatment plants. Both of those will expire in May of 2027. Items 3 and 4 are some more TxDOT updates. So Atkins Creek, again, this is the one where TxDOT is planning to do some drainage improvements along the channel, and so they have advised the city that we're going to have some more meetings with them to kind of pick it back up and get it ready to go. The project is scheduled to let in 2024, so they've completed their H&H design and are completing with the rest of their engineering design. And then the 149 and 105 northbound right turn lane. And so what TxDOT told us is that they are waiting on Entergy to move pole, and then they will be able to complete their work. They said after the Entergy relocation is complete, TxDOT will be complete with construction in about a month. They did not give any indication on when they believe Entergy will have the pole moved, but we'll be reaching out to Entergy as well to see if we can put some pressure from the city side to keep it moving.
Let me know if you need help. Maybe a cattle prod, whatever. Anyway.
Will do. Item 5, your access management along 105. So we pointed out, it looks like construction has slowed down substantially, and they said that's due to concrete shortages, which we're experiencing industry-wide. They said typically the smaller contractors may have trouble getting concrete, but the larger contractors are able to. In this situation, everybody is experiencing the shortage. So their construction has unfortunately slowed down dramatically. And then item 6 is access management along 105. This is another project from Grimes County line up to Shepherd Street. This is originally going to go to 149. They've now tailored it back just to Shepherd, so just a small portion within the city. We attended a 30% utility location meeting on June 8th. Mike went as well. And basically this was a meeting where they're at the 30% point in their design, and they say this is our understood location of your utilities. And this is our planned location. So we're reviewing the plans to see if there's any conflict with what TxDOT is proposing and the city's existing utilities. And then the last item that I wanted to point out was item 8 on this list is your emergency preparedness plans. This is something we've been talking about since about this time last year. So your emergency preparedness plan was submitted on February 24th. We never really heard anything back from the TCEQ. We reached out and they said, we won't have a chance to review all of the emergency preparedness plans by July 1st, so go ahead and do implementation with what you have. For the city, all that really means is printing hard copies and distributing them. And so I have a hard copy here. If y'all would like to take a look afterwards, you're more than welcome to. If any member of council would like a hard copy, I'm happy to have one prepared for you as well. And that is all that I have this evening.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion for approving departmental reports, items 19 through 27 at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve the reports.
Motion by Carol.
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of passing departmental reports, items 19 through 27, say aye.
Aye.
And the motion is approved to approve the departmental reports as presented. All right, it is 8:03 and it's still June the 28th, just for clarity. Executive session, the City Council reserves the right to discuss any of the items listed specifically under this heading or for any items listed above an executive closed session as permitted by law, including if they meet the qualifications in sections 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, 551.073, deliberation regarding gifts, 551.074, personnel matters, 551.076, deliberation regarding security devices, and 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations of Chapter 551 of the Government Code of the State of Texas. And so it is now 8:04 and we are adjourned into Everybody ready? It is 9:11, and we have returned from executive session back into our regular session. And we've had, looks like, a couple of candidates to fill position 5. You have endured this long. Would you like to step to the microphone and say a word or two about yourself? You don't have to, but you can sure do that. Miss Patricia?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Patricia Easley, and I am a lifelong citizen of the city of Montgomery, and I've served on the city council, city planning board before, and also the economic board before, and at one point, some years ago, was very active in the city. I understand that there's a position that you're looking to appoint, and I am willing to serve. I'm a quick study, and I believe in making sure that I make informed decisions, and I love this city. I was born and raised here, seen all the changes. Some I like, some I don't. And just interested in making sure that the city runs well. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan?
Where's Stan?
Good evening, Mayor and City Councilman. My name is Stan Donaldson, and I'm a little over 2.5-year resident of Montgomery. So I'm relatively new. I don't know that many people, so one of my strong points is I don't have any ties to anything or any situation. So, all I can offer you is my time and my availability. I don't work as a full-time right now, so I feel like I can devote more time to learning about how this city council and how this city operates, and hopefully give some positive input. I will definitely need some help from the city council and people that are already experienced and know other people, but I'm just willing to devote my time and effort and to help make this city a better place for everybody and not just a few. So I just thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you both for waiting so long.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so item number 29, consideration and possible action on an appointment to fill the unexpired term for City Council Place 5, which ends in May of 2023. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we nominate Patricia Easley for this position 5 of City Council.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Cheryl, second by Casey, to appoint Patricia Easley as position number 5 with the term ending in May 2023 to the City Council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there is a 3-0 affirmation. Patricia, welcome to, or condolences, of winning a seat here on the council. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stan, for your interest as well.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, council inquiry. Anybody have anything for council inquiry? Okay, let me just catch you up on some things that I've been doing, just a few. I did visit with Dr. Morrison, school superintendent, very good visit. Just trying to find if there's some shared interest in some things, and we do. I won't speak to what those things are, but we do have some shared interest. And so it was a very positive conversation. From that, I hope that we can get some internships. This is kind of an extension of what I started on EDC. We've got at least 2 restaurant owners crying out for chefs who will be trained and want to stay. So I hear that, and I've heard it for years. Growing your own workforce is important for a city. Involving the kids. So even though we won't see a vocational trades building for several years physically, the programs are being built up. So Chief and everyone else that hears this statement, I've heard cosmetology is interested in that as well. Why not get our kids groomed to either work for someone else in cosmetology, nails, whatever else that involves, not much for me. But yeah, so we're all on the same page of that. We are trying to create some internships. So if there's anybody interested in that type of thing, just let me know. We'll get you in touch and kind of, you know, put that out there for the school in general. Also, it was expressed, Council and others have discussed the possibility that some of our websites, I think we have 5 websites, and so I took a matter to him, Superintendent, about could we solicit the people who are best at websites? Teenagers, okay. And they have possibility to do CAD classes and website design. They could even help us. So if they can help us and we help them, and there's no charge. There's no charge. So this would be strictly voluntary. And so he's working on that. So we have a superintendent that's very much interested in these partnerships. Just a reminder, we go into a budget planning process here, prayerfully. Be in prayer about that whole process because it is a painstaking process, and I appreciate Dave and his leadership and guiding this, and Chief and all of the different department leaders. You're putting a lot of effort into that budget. So let me just remind you of my deal through Council is that we do have, I don't remember what it was, expenditures of 58% of the current budget and whatnot. Let's do everything we can with this budgeted money. And whatever we have that we don't really need something, let's get that debt down. Let's get that debt down. That's all I'm saying. You never want to go out there and say, well, we'll just do without this and do without that for political reasons. I don't care about political reasons. Do the right thing. We do have some ambitious things now and in the near future, and we certainly have some ambitious things to take on with all this growth. We've outgrown our city hall. We've got decisions that need to get made pretty quick. And so please keep that in mind as well. Ms. Cheryl, myself, and Carol will be headed out in the morning to TML training. Carol and I still feel like we're kind of new, and we may be new for a good while. These are good trainings to go to. It helps a lot to go to this training, so we'll do that. I also will be part of a Houston, Galveston area council. Probably will Zoom that thing July the 13th. And report back to management what things can we get assistance in with regards to traffic. It's good to hear progress with that animal called TxDOT. Possibly could do that, but there's that little matter at Lone Star and Buffalo Springs that every time you go there, you're waiting a good while. And that's what the taxpayers told me. So that's going to be on my list. There's also another one at the end of July. I've asked staff and engineering team especially, give me what you want me to say. I don't know all the aspects, and make sure there's not too big of long words that I can't pronounce. But HGAC is going to know we have some transportation woes, and I don't have any optimism we're going to get that from the county. Let's just say that. All right, that's a boatload of stuff. All right, need a motion to close?
No.
Nope.
Are we doing anything for the city of Montgomery 185th birthday?
I don't have anything on my schedule.
You're not
for that, but sure.
You're not baking a cake for that Friday where we can all come by and have a piece of cake?
That is a great idea and something I can certainly do.
Okay.
All in favor of a cake, say aye. Aye. Need a motion to close?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Motion by adjourned by Casey, second by Carol, and we are at 9:20 adjourned.
calendar? Because mine didn't come on my water bill.
It's right back